Uncle Dig's garden update. It is August 19th, 2024, and I am in gardening zone 8B, and this is Uncle Dig with your garden update. And as always, if I have anything growing under the eternal artificial sun, let's start with that first. My planetary gas indoor auto yielded 1.51 ounces of flower, which is about what I expect for this particular autoflower. I am currently flowering 2 photo periods in my small 2x2 tent in 1-gallon pots. One is a Maroof red clone whose mother is outside. I took this one and cut before I put her mother outside to confirm sex, and also because I wanted a little indoor flower while I wait for the outdoor to finish. This is a long flowering variety, so probably it won't be ready for another 2 to 4 weeks. I flipped the light in this tent on July 5th for reference, which was about 45 days ago. I also had one extra seedling that didn't need to go outside this year, a super skunk feminized from ilovegrowingmarijuana.com. So I have that flowering in my small 2x2 as well. It has chunky nugs, and they seem to keep growing, and it looks like it's finishing soon. I look forward to hanging it in my studio soon. I have also started an indoor autoflower in a 5-gallon pot this time instead of a 3-gallon. This autoflower is the Anvil F9 from Gnome Automatics. I hope to yield well with this plant, so I have her in a 2.5 by 2.5 foot tent all by herself under a Spider Farmer SF1000. Anvil broke the surface of the organic mix on August 6th, so she is only at day 12. This plant is supposed to be an excellent yielder, an excellent indica autoflower with purple buds that yields well, so I'm excited about it. My outdoor autoflower garden this year yielded only 3.73 ounces, which is not as good as last year's over 7 ounces. I'm actually not exactly sure what I yielded last year. My notes aren't as good as I would like, but I did the math and it looks like over 7 ounces, so I've nearly halved my yield. The problem this year is that I planted the outdoor autoflowers too early, around May 15th. I was hoping to harvest early in the summer, so I ran this little experiment. Due to the autoflowers turning out runty due to colder temperatures, I did achieve my early harvest, but they were stunted in their early development. Whereas last year I planted in late June. I will be planting in mid to late June next year as well. I may even start some plants in July. Later is better. It rained extremely hard yesterday, which is weird for Southern Oregon in summer. Lucky me, I just got the last trellises on my outdoor photo period plants, with maybe the exception of a couple more strands of gardening twine here and there. You want to be done trellising by week 1 or 2 of flower, and this is the time of year in my part of the northern hemisphere on the northern edge of the Emerald Triangle. The plants have just started to flower if they are going to finish in October. And they will be in early to mid-flower if they were going to finish in September. The reason you want to be done trellising is that once the flowers are growing, you don't want to be training or bending branches. You want to let the plant focus on growing flowers. And on that note, you also want to finish up your pruning this time of year, so the plant can focus on flowers, not healing from the small damage pruning causes. You should definitely be done topping by now. I do 2 different trellising methods. My favorite recently is to put 4 8-foot T-posts around each smart pot and stretch plastic trellis netting and spread the plants through that and then layer the trellis over it once I spread the plants over the trellis netting. Then I add another trellis net and spread the plant through that. That helps keep the plant shorter than they otherwise would be. This also gives the plant support through inclement weather and high wind. This method is called SCROG, or the screen of green method. When I threw my back out driving T-posts, I reverted to my old method of using flexible poles with gardening twine tied around them, making a really flexible, large kind of tomato cage, but out of twine. This method relies more on the plant to support itself. Both methods work fine, but I do anticipate larger yields with the aforementioned Scrog method, but we'll see. It also keeps it below my fence line. I have 8 photo periods this year, 2 CBD Dutch Treat Femmes from Crop King. This is a 2-to-1 CBD that I like to grow every year. It finishes in September normally, so I like that about it. This is my go-to morning smoke. Last year I harvested CBD Dutch Treat in mid-September. I am also growing 2 Super Skunk feminized seedlings. Super Skunk is a stretchy plant that puts large, mild indica nugs on. I harvested Super Skunk in early October last year. They are just starting to flower. I am also growing 3 If I Could Turn Mac Pine Femmes from Gemseeker Genetics. I am really excited about this one. The breeder, Cavemain, recommended this flavor profile to me specifically. This is supposed to be miracle alien cookies, but piney instead. 2 out of the 3 phenotypes are flowering. 1 is not quite there. I have no idea how long these will take to flower, but I assume they will finish sometime in October. The other plant I am growing is Maroof Red. This is my last Afghan seedling. Then I will be moving almost exclusively to normal polyhybrids, no more land races, as they can be finicky indoors. This one particularly just seems to be happier outside, but I look forward to this plant finishing last, as she is barely even showing sex. Besides cannabis, I am also growing jalapeno peppers and Hungarian black peppers, which are in their harvest window right now. So I get fresh hot peppers every day. Yum. Now, there is one thing I want to mention before we go that's not quite as fun as just a straight up gardening stuff. Let's talk about garden security. Last year, some of you may know that my largest plants and my last to finish were stolen out of my backyard when my fence was destroyed by a poor driving incident. Not of me, of someone else. So you want to have a fence, right? And cameras aren't a bad idea either. I used to think that the era of rippers or people who steal plants was over. Sadly, I was mistaken, and that is simply not the case. Please be mindful of your personal security in your grow. And as we come into the outdoor flowering season, mind your plants so someone else doesn't. Now, besides that, please have fun. It's almost harvest season, the best time of the year for cannabis growers outside. We get to put in the last bit of work and reap the rewards of our hard labor. But alas, you aren't the only one that wants to consume your cannabis. This time of year is prime pest season. And here in the Pacific Northwest and all over cannabis growing country, the dreaded bloodworm creeps. Little pretty butterflies fly around and lay eggs on your developing buds, and then caterpillars hatch and devour them. And their shit causes fungus that will cause botrytis fungus that will destroy your plants. But you can do something about it. You can spray Bacillus thuringiensis, or BT spray, which is a bacteria that once consumed by caterpillars will cause them to stop feeding and die, saving your plants from a fate worse than death. You can spray BT once every 7 to 10 days during early to mid flower. After mid to late flower, I would stop. That's it for your garden update. Let's overgrow the world.